Hello everybody, how are you going? Or welcome to TikTok's Only Canadians Will Understand, and honestly putting that to the test because most of these you can generally grasp and some of them still teach me a thing or two.
Hi, welcome to Canada. Unaffordable housing is right this way.
Oh,
Hello, welcome to Canada. Inflation's at an all-time high. Yeah, shawarma plates are like $20. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Whoa.
Hello, welcome to Canada. Average cost of a two-bedroom apartment is $2,700. Nothing's available. Good luck. Yeah, keep going.
A month?
Hello, welcome to Canada. Our news is censored now. No one really understands fully what that means. It all happened really quick.
What?
Hi, welcome to Canada. Oh, refugee? Yeah. Here's your blanket and Walmart gift card. Thanks. Have a good one. Yeah.
Oh no.
Hello, welcome to Canada. Oh, you're Canadian. Welcome back. Things feel different now.
How long have they been away? Oh, that's what it truly makes me wonder. How long have they been away? If he's saying that things truly do feel different, I mean, I'm also trying to figure out how much are you getting for $20 of shawarma? Because also, I've never seen shawarma listed on any menu anywhere in Australia. And I know it's in the general overall category of like kebab, I believe. So if you're paying anywhere close to $20, I mean, you did say for a plate, so that's thrown me for a bit of a loop. But $20 for anything of that regard, Canadian, which is like 1.2 I think Australian compared to 1.6 or 1.5 American, really that's a lot of money just for a bit of dinner maybe. Then of course some of the other ones that threw me for a bit of a loop was the apartments cost $2,700, and at first I thought he was going to be saying to buy, like they cost $2 million to buy a 2-bedroom apartment or something like that, and then he said $2,700. I went, well, it's not going to be a week, and then I went, okay, yeah, they do work in monthly cycles there. However, $2,700 to $900 a week for a 2-bedroom apartment, so $1,000 a week. I mean, there are plenty of people in the major capital cities, at least, definitely the major 2 capital cities in Australia, that are paying that or more for sure, with plenty of people having their rents just go up crazy amounts, like 50% in a year, 80% in a year, maybe even more in some crazy cases that I've heard, going from $700 a week to $1,400 a week. That's just outrageous, is one case I heard of. However, that is definitely going to be the more high-end apartments, and you can still find places not in the CBD, but in Greater Sydney for $500, $400, even $300 if you're willing to do a bit of a drive a week for a 2-bedroom apartment or unit or whatever you want to be calling it. So look, obviously this guy doesn't have a particular employee. It's not like it's listed Air Canada, but for the sake of the argument, let's say it is. And I believe that Qantas, Australia's Air Canada, for all intensive purposes, would have an exact copy paste of this guy just doing the exact same thing, maybe to an even higher degree, because I believe that our indexes are generally skewed in the negative direction for everything, both inflation, housing, all of that kind of stuff. There's a couple of country-specific problems, but all the global ones, we are generally faring worse off.
I've decided to do a video on culture shocks I've had since moving to Vancouver, Canada. So let's get into it.
From where?
I'm going to go good and bad ones. Starting off strong with your tap water. It's so good. In Ireland, half the house is done in filtered water, so you have to use bottled water.
Right.
But over here, tap water is insanely good. Definitely recommend. Number 2,
good.
I'm shocked at how little people speak French over here. And I know it's not the French region, but I just thought I'd hear more, but considering it is the second language. Again, understand that it's not Quebec, but still. Number 3, your sky trains and your transportation systems. I love them so much. It's amazing. They're so quick, they're so efficient, and they're so consistent. Like, they come all the time. Like, even if it doesn't come, your biggest delay is like by 20 minutes. Minus nowadays. Bringing me on to number 4. I've been told that this winter in particular was bad, but holy hell, the snow that I experienced, it literally shut the whole place down. Like, you couldn't do anything with it. Transport instantly off, and oh my gosh, just crazy. I've never experienced something like that.
In a good or bad way though, as I thought she was going to be saying, well, there was so much snow, it was wonderful, it was just the pristine snow, it was just so powdery, whatever it may be, and then she went, nope, shut the whole place down. Don't know what to say, couldn't get anywhere, nothing happened, just winter wonderland, but you're locked inside your houses or you're locked inside wherever you were. And to an extent, I guess I can understand that, but is it either good or bad? That's what I really want to know. I mean, you can be saying that the SkyTrain's great and it's only a 20-minute wait, which I guess by Tokyo standards is about 2 days, but it's certainly on par with a lot of the developed world. And by that metric, really, if they're that good, then why do they just suddenly shut down as soon as the snow hits in Canada? I feel as though it's kind of part of the engineering mantra that you have to be engineering for the cold weather as much as the hot weather, and the hot weather doesn't do as much and doesn't shut as many things down unless it cuts out the entire grid and you have a blackout or something. But realistically, the cold weather is going to be the one that you need to be skewing your engineering towards more, because whether it's a plow in the front or, I don't know, cables shrinking and snapping, whatever it may be, you need to be planning for that more than the other way around. However, for tap water to be mentioned as the number one, not in any particular order, but just the first one that at least sprung to her mind, that's a pretty big deal, and I didn't catch exactly where she was from. At first I couldn't tell, and then I believed that she said Ireland, and mentioned that half the houses don't have filtered. And what does she mean by that? Because tap water and filtered, it's never the same thing in my mind. I'm never thinking that all of the water out of the tap is filtered. That's just not a thing. It's not as far as I've ever been aware. And so is she talking that it's undrinkable because it's not treated? Maybe. That's the only thing I can think of, but then that's not going to be half the houses. It's going to be surely one local water supply doing everything. And so people just have to be either upgrading their pipes or moving. That's the two options that you've got there. Either way, for Canada's water to be much, much better is a positive thing. You don't have to be drinking bottled water. Anyone that drinks bottled water every day, all day, with no other option, or with all the other options in the world, is a lunatic in my eyes. I don't understand. How can you be doing that if you're just at home and you're drinking bottled water? It doesn't make sense. If it's fine to drink the tap water, drink the tap water. You can filter it, go for your life. But bottled water, spending so much money on water, why?
October in Canada.
Oh, nice colors. Oh, the pumpkins too. Oh. Oh, a bit of a difference there. Whoa, that's a fast drop off. Holy moly. Going from these, I guess, literally fall or autumn as most people would call it, but realistically, look at that. That is a big, big color shift. I mean, you go for a nice blue, cloudy, sunny day into a very grey skies and grey ground kind of day, which is going to make a big difference. If you had a nice blue sky, it's not going to look as dark and depressing, I can only hope. But still, I mean, the pumpkins are a little bit missing as well, but everything there is just gone. I mean, it doesn't even look like this ready tree is even still around. Oh, well, I guess it is around, but it proves the point of what's going on there, that every single tree is deciduous and has just lost all of its leaves. And I guess it makes sense because it needs to be conserving its energy. But man, what a way to just live your life and truly know when the seasons have hit, because there's no denying that you're in winter by then. You're in December, December has come, Christmas is around the corner, the days are short, and there is none of this kind of happy vibe going on. Inside the house, maybe, but outside the house, nah, just a little bit too much bleakness.
How Americans act when visiting Canada during the winter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. What, are they trying to hide their face from the cold or something? I feel like you just need to be rugging up properly. Just stuff any kind of fashion sense. You need to be warm. Just pull everything you can possibly get, all the fabric, and put it over your face if that's the last resort that you really need to be going down. I mean, it looks like they're wearing appropriate footwear. At least this lady's in front. I don't know about the one in the back. They just kind of look like Converse shoes, but then she's got a hell of a jacket on, where this one in the front kind of looks like she's just wearing a blanket. Under a coat, of course, but actually, no, seeing it a little bit closer, it is definitely not a blanket, or it's either a blanket with a big rip in it that is made to look like a coat. But regardless, they are not prepared for that. And I don't know if it's a particular massive wind gust. I guess I could kind of watch the guy in the back maybe and see what happens to him. What happens? People are generally all right. They just kind of had their backpacks and they kept on cruising up the entire thing. I mean, it's going to be windy, and that's something they have to deal with, but it's not like they're just frozen literally and metaphorically in their own tracks, just trying to hide away from the wind. That's just not going to be a thing. So even though it does say that it's in Banff, I feel as though these people just got the wrong month. I feel as though most people, if they're going to be wanting to explore Banff, they aren't going to be wanting to explore Banff in that weather. Go in summer, maybe you can extend it out to the shoulder seasons, but for goodness sake, if you're not that way inclined, don't go there at that time. They even said, I've experienced cold weather, never like this though. 4:59 p.m, nice and sunny. Is it just going to go dark at 5 instantly? Surely. In winter. Oh, wow, yep, that is dark. Don't put your sunnies on. I don't know why it went dark so quickly. Surely there's some kind of rollover period, but I'm sure that's just what it feels like. To be fair though, that is always going to be the trade-off. If you do manage to snag 16 hours a day during summer just to really extend your days, winter's going to bite you really hard when it goes down to 8 hours, 7 hours. I mean, if you just keep going north, I mean, what is the top of Norway? Is probably 4 hours or something ridiculous. You have these extended twilights, but actually sunny time, not going to have much of that, even if the sun is out. So I don't blame people for going, oh, it's 5 p.m, it's only 5 p.m, and it's pitch dark. In my experience, sitting in Melbourne aren't too much better. I think they're slightly less of a swing than most of Canada, the populated part at least, but still, it is a bit of a shame in winter. But then you go back to the other one in December and you go, well, do you really want to be outside in dark, freezing cold? I don't know, not me. Oh, I have to brush it, or what is it? Oh, it's frozen. Oh no. Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad overall. I don't know what car that is. Is that a... I don't know. I don't recognize, and I don't know if that's a model-specific problem or if that's just a worldwide thing or domestic-wide thing in Canada and North America when you do have these frozen shut doors and you just have to reef on it. But what if you break the handle? Because generally handles... they're on there, but I reckon you could rip it off with enough force before the door latch completely just unfreezes and frees up the entire door. Otherwise, the door would be the weaker part than the handle. And I feel like that, in a crash, is something that you do not want. But either way, I've said it a million times before, just having to deal with all the snow and your car and your modes of transport, even like the First Lady said, as soon as it starts snowing, everything just shuts down. If that is something that I had to deal with every day, that would be quite the adjustment, I'm sure. Just not being able to just pop into your car and go. You have to clear your windscreen, clear your rear view, maybe not freeze to death inside your car, worry about your fuel if you're going to get stuck in some blizzard, and then also not being able to get in your car sometimes, let alone everything else involved in that. I still don't know why people don't just put their cars in garages. I understand that obviously not people in apartments are going to be having garages, but a lot of North America seems to be big houses with big garages, and no one uses them for their cars, so then they make their life hard for this part. Either way, you do you, but not me.
Something I found so insanely interesting as a Canadian teacher coming from Canada was the uniforms.
Right.
Not really sure how things have changed over the years, but I'm seeing that at some schools it's a lot more chill and they just kind of wear the school colors with the little logo, black pants, and black shoes. But it's when I saw this that I was like, oh, hell no. It was just genuinely so insanely shocking to me to see the girls wearing these dresses and having the white socks and the black shoes. I was like, did I just go back in time? Anyway, so it got me thinking, what do you guys think about uniforms? I feel like there's a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of cons.
Okay. Well, at first it caught my eye because I was going, wait, hang on, this is Canadian, but it's uniforms in Australia. But to have the perspective of a Canadian teacher coming and teaching in Australia, that certainly just all adds up there. Now, if I come back and try and find this bit of a uniform here, honestly, that is very stock standard. Less so in high schools. You're either going to be going private school or public school, which is going to be kind of neither of that, but realistically in primary school that is a very stock standard thing to be seeing, and honestly I reckon they got off fairly scot-free. In terms of the dresses, the socks and the shoes are a bit of a mixture. You can wear sneakers in primary school, you can wear whatever. Perhaps if you're going to be going to a private primary school you might see that, but honestly at that rate you're not going to see that. They're going to be way longer, way more woolen, if that makes sense, just massive and thick, whether it's the boys or the girls, whatever. It's going to be a very heavy blazers, hat, bags galore. It's going to be all over the place. That is very mid-range color scheme and very much the norm. And that is why when a lot of the world sees North American schools, it kind of takes them a second and it takes them out of feeling like they're actually in school when they see school kids, whether they're 30-year-olds playing school kids or teenagers playing school kids, regardless, when they see them just in general clothes, it feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like school because, well, they're not in uniform, but it just feels like a Hollywood movie, and it's so detached where for everyone in North America, that's the norm. It clearly just comes down to a what are you used to kind of situation. If you're used to uniforms, then I don't think many people care. You literally wake up every day, you chuck it on, you don't have to think about it. It's all good to go instantaneously. But if you do go to other schools, then yes, you may have more flexibility, but I've also heard that the bullying situation can be more exaggerated because certain kids are able to afford certain things or have certain things and other kids don't. There's all of those kind of dynamics going on where a uniform makes you uniform. That's kind of the whole point of it. So there's good and bad and norms depending on which side of the equation you are on. But overall, those two, in the grand Australian scheme of things, got off fairly scot-free.
This is why I laugh when people
Again.
say they want to come
No,
to
not
Canada.
another car.
Door is frozen shut.
Oh,
Can't even go to work.
it looked like he got it to budge though.
I guess I'm not
Look.
going.
Oh, it's so close. Pull it.
Let me
Surely.
try again. Do you still want to come to Canada?
What is holding that? Is his left hand doing something to stop it from actually opening and he's playing a bit of a game and a trickery on us? I just don't see how a door can open that much and not open. You've cracked the ice at that point. You've clearly got all the hinges working, the handles open, the latch is releasing. What is holding the door shut? There's not a massive pile of snow in front of the door. If it was things like that, I could go, yeah, sure, whatever. But how? How is that remotely possible? Please explain if that is possible, or if they're trying to trick the non-Canadians out here, because they're saying, do you still want to come to Canada? And yeah, I'm sure. But the car situation always boggles my mind. It doesn't make sense. What, you just don't go to work for half the year? I mean, I'm sure plenty of people love it, but work from home isn't as old as snow and ice on the car, and so people haven't been able to do that all year round, let alone tradies that have to go to work. It's not like they just get an excuse and so they have to get out, what, like 3 o'clock in the morning just to start melting their entire car down? Surely not. Ooh, all right. Just get stuck outside your car is number one, surely. Actually, fair enough. I didn't expect it to be taking that turn, but from a lot of what we see, unless you're just carving up the slopes or locked inside next to the fireplace, I think these people have just got it down pat. Just straight up leave, go south, go overseas, go to Europe. I don't know, they're going to be in cold as well, but maybe not as cold. Go to the Bahamas or anywhere like that. I guess I can understand why people would be coming to Australia, especially during that time of year. You're going to go from -40 to +40. That's a hell of a swing in a day or 2 days of time that you're going to be losing as well coming all the way here. Maybe even Texas, a bit closer, but a lot more heat. Maybe not too much heat because it is going to be winter, but enough heat at that time of year. Either way, if you can leave, it makes sense to leave to some regard. If you have the means into which, it's the same reason that plenty of people just bunny hop all around the world. They just run away from winter, whether it's an Australian winter, whether it's a European winter, a Canadian winter, a Fijian winter. I mean, they don't have winter, but if it's a winter, people generally like to escape it. And even summer as well. Sometimes people just don't like the hot to that degree and they go to someplace cooler.
Ok.
All right, I'll give it my best. Oh, that is beautiful
Il n'y a pas de
snow.
route pour sortir de chez moi. Est-ce que vous voyez la neige? C'est à peut-être 50, 60, 90 centimètres.
Yes or no. Maybe no. Maybe yes. I don't know.
Au Canada.
Wow.
Ok, bah là c'est la vie au Canada.
They're going.
Genre,
Oh,
moi j'ai
they've
peur.
actually carved a path?
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
la vie au Canada.
I'm confused. Oh, I guess it's built
La
up. I
vie-
thought they
Oh,
already
mon
carved
Dieu.
it somehow.
Ouais, je marche
Whoa,
où tu as
oh,
marché.
stairs. Oh, everything just looks like a ramp. My goodness, it's such beautiful coverage though. Such perfect coverage. Look at that. I mean, once you make it onto the road, I'm sure it's all fine and dandy, whether it's been salted or what, but I can't imagine everyone just goes around salting their stairs. But I want to come back to this start here. That looks like a dusting of flour. When you sieve it and it just becomes the perfect mound in the bowl, that is what that looks like. And I've never seen anything like that in Australia. Really, I've never seen anything like that anywhere, but that is just perfect. And to wake up to that every day, like I've said, it may be a hassle and there's going to be some kind of numbness that you get to it after a while, but to see it once like that. And I was just wondering how it got that mound, and I guess they've got 2 walls and then they had a staircase. I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea what was going on. I was going, how have they carved a path between these 2 mountains of snow? But they didn't. It just fell that way, and it's just so perfect. It's so evenly undulating. It just smooths out all the surfaces. It's not like, unless you have a cliff face, it just even the stairs, like how did it do the stairs like that and not just build up on the stairs? That's crazy to me. How does the staircase not look like a staircase after it snowed? Because surely all the snow is falling, for all intents and purposes, like rain and straight down. And if rain stacked up like snow does, then you would have the staircase just 40 mil higher. But the stairs weren't like that. Huh.
Pub, it's your first time seeing Lake Louise in band.
Oh.
Are you getting emotional?
Oh, this would be pretty cool. There's no need to cry about it though. You're not even there yet.
Oh my gosh, it
What if
doesn't
it's
seem
a
real.
bit-
It's like a fairy tale.
Okay. Look at that. The color is just ridiculous. The sky, it looks like it's just an animation. Like if that was, I mean, Toy Story might not be the best just because of the stylistic choices in Toy Story, but really, if that was some kind of semi-realistic animation with the sky and the clouds and the mountain and the colors and the trees, it just looks so perfectly crafted, as though someone has taken an image from all around the world and molded it into the perfect one. And you go, yes, of course, it's just from Dreamland. This is what you've walked into. The color of the water, the lakes, the canoes, everything, da da da. You couldn't dream it up. But this lady got to experience it. And like I was saying, I was really hoping that she wasn't going to get there and it just be a very desolate, boring, really bad look out of a place just to see it, especially considering that she was already tearing up just walking to it. I don't know if she could see it or not from there. It didn't seem like it. But if you're tearing up just thinking about getting to a view that isn't even that crazy of a view compared to some of the ones we're getting, you're seriously emotionally invested, and so for it to not live up to your expectations, whoo man, you do not want that. So just make sure you pick the right one, or go in somehow with really low expectations, have your mind blown, and then go to the top of that mountain, and then really have your mind blown. What? Is it shallow or clear or what? That looks so cool. That looks like such an experience. Is it cracked? Is that previous? Skating? No, that definitely has cracks in it, but not in a worrisome way. I just want to know how deep that truly is, because it looks like it's only 50 centimeters to a meter / 3 feet deep, well, maybe a little bit more if I'm trying to judge the shadows, or I guess you could kind of tell if I have a look. Let's just, the sun's coming in. It's got to be... It can't be much, it's only 2 foot away from him. So yeah, it must only be really, really shallow. And that's also how they're getting the clarity. But man, that looks awesome. Just so effortless as well. Such effortless fun, just skating around on the ice. Such a frictionless surface that if you are obviously good enough to enjoy such a thing, I can absolutely recommend doing that. I would love to be able to do that, and I don't think I'd ever be able to do that, or I don't think I would currently be able to do that with my lack of any skating ability, let alone being in the right place. But man, that is a cool thing to do, just being able to see the sand like that. Like usually you have to have goggles and all those kind of things. Maybe if you're brave enough to open your eyes and like this, you could see the sand, but you're never going to see it frozen in time like that. That's an awesome experience, and I wonder how often that really happens, because most lakes are surely too deep for that, or they don't have the clarity for that. But then again, I guess with 2 million lakes or whatever, plus everyone's pools, you could probably find a place like this, as rare as it may be, because I've never seen it before, but as rare as it may be, or as common as it may be, I reckon you can find the odd lucky one and just have that same experience, just no one around, or supposedly no one around, skating to your heart's content.